Welcome back. Let us proceed, shall we? Yep, last time, Bell's story didn't really take a turn, but just sort of overcame a bit of a emotional wall between Vels and Krish. Now, let's unlock this card by using a bronze key, chip, and a chair, and see what our resident hacker, Olif/Eris, is up to. What? What was that? What the hell? I don't know. What is it? Those are the thoughts that passed through my mind. That passed through my mind back when I initially listened to the audio clip that the devil sent me. Oh, this was the clip of Marduk talking to someone seemingly above him. Of course, quite a bit of time has passed since then. I've gotten my thoughts in order. Back then, I was incredibly confused. This is a nice blurred image of Gmail here. What was the context of the conversation? What was the context of this recording? Who was Marduk talking about? Who was he talking to? Well, for one, at least I knew the devil wasn't just talking shit. I still didn't buy his god theory for a second. But this definitely required consideration. Careful consideration. Let's think about this rationally. What was actually said there? It really is a pain. Do I really have to listen to? Don't lecture me about respect. Respect! Yes, results, I understand. Those seem like the important statements. Let's go through them one at a time. Really is a pain implies that, to some extent, Marduk is annoyed with the compliance. Not outright angry. It might not even necessarily be against his will. It just annoys him on some level. Do I really have to listen to implies that he is, on some level, listening to someone. Devil would have me think that this means he's being controlled by the god. But that's not quite what's being said right there. There's on some level Marduk is listening to someone. Maybe that means doing a specific thing. Maybe that means not doing something. It's probably a hard order, not advice, or else he wouldn't be so upset. He wouldn't be upset. But conversely, if it really was the god hypothesis that the devil thinks, I don't think this is the sort of way he'd be talking about it. Don't lecture me about respect. 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 Clearly, whoever Marduk was talking to rebuffed Marduk's complaints, saying that respect is important in this context. So does Marduk need to give someone respect? What on earth could that possibly be? Was it more of a respect, the hustle type of respect? Couldn't be sure. Finally, yes, results. I understand. So results are the reason that Marduk is listening to this person. At the very least, results are related. No, I couldn't piece this together with my current understanding of things. Well, shit. Actually thinking about it, why was I just sitting here twiddling my thumbs? It's a perfectly good person to ask. Immediately I began drafting up an email. I was smarter back then. I would have thought about the approach a bit more mindfully. Back then? That's hindsight for you. Devil, this clip is incredible. It's from Marduk, right? I'm so glad you trust me enough to send me this. Is this part of your card that you were hesitant to show me earlier? This definitely has big implications about Panthea. I'd be delighted if you could give me some more insight into what exactly this call is about. Thank you. Olif. At a second thought, I sent that email. I figured it was adequately thankful and respectful. I knew to at least get that out. I was just so curious about the clip. I sat there refreshing my email account over and over, waiting for a response. Some response, any response. It took longer than I expected. But a watched pot never boils, however the saying goes. Got an email back from the devil before too long. Opened it, excited to hear his explanation. Unfortunately, at first glance, the email was disappointingly short. You are correct. This is a secret file I have not shared with many people. Me sending this out to you signals my trust. It's good to know you properly appreciate that. You requesting my theory about Panthea's god. Well, let this be testament and proof. There is a Panthean god, one that controls the leader of the Duats, Marduk. Marduk is annoyed at having to listen to someone below his station, a regular person, the god. Quod erat demonstratum. And that was it. Fucking hell, how pompous could you get? I agree with you, Eris. It could be missing some very damning context here. I was really fucking annoyed by this devil guy. Definitely had some cards I wanted to see. I have to just keep feeding his ego. It was really my best chance of learning more. As I typed up my response, I had to keep my annoyance in check. However, without asking more direct questions, he was going to monologue platitudes ad infinitum. To get the answers I needed, I had to face him head on. I totally see what you mean. Apologies for questioning you. I was out of line. You are clearly far more knowledgeable about this city than me. In my defense, you clearly had more information guiding your theory. Still, I'm big enough to admit when I'm wrong. This is clearly one of those times. Moving on, this clip is huge. This is probably the biggest clue we have towards the identity of the god. I'm sure you've thoroughly analyzed it. Still, I'd like to be of some help. Maybe getting a new perspective could open a new line of thinking that you haven't considered before. To start out, mind if I ask a few basic questions? One, how did you get this audio? I understand if you don't want to give specifics. Maybe you have sources you want to protect. But still, any surrounding context you could lend would be a huge help. Also, I don't know many recording devices that only get one side of the conversation. Unless it's in Marduk's office and not the phone line itself being bugged. Do you have an idea who Marduk could be talking to? I think if we knew that, your theory could be pretty much confirmed. Finally, do you know what they talked about before this clip? After this clip? Or is this all you have? Eagerly awaiting answers so we can work on this together. Olif. Then I sent the email. Not that bad, right? It strokes his ego. Compliments him. Acknowledges my fault. Very humbly asks to share some information. Gives him out. I think this is a pretty reasonable email, all things considered. You're gonna shut down, aren't you? Wasn't expecting much pushback from it. I sat there, refreshing the tab, waiting for a response. It ended up sitting there far longer than I expected. As a matter of fact, it has now been several days, and still not a peep from the devil. Like, what the fuck? Did I blow it? I've read over my own email several times now, and still I can't see what about it has caused him offense. That's probably the reason he isn't responding. He's never not responded for this long in the past. Of course, there are some other explanations. Possible that something happened to whoever this devil is. But no, that can't be right. That's too fantastical. Somebody looking into the truth of Panthea, disappearing right as they're asked important information. Question about an incriminating audio file. That's too fantastical. It almost makes it seem like the whole conspiracy idea is real. I shook my head. No, dumb idea. Bad idea. The devil was actively choosing not to respond. Why, I wasn't sure. Maybe he didn't want to answer those questions. Thought I had given him a reasonable ability to refuse answering, but apparently not. Whatever. Couldn't spend time thinking about that shit. You know what? I need to just refresh my brain for like a hot second. There's one reliable place to do that. To come up, I go. What's trending? Let's see. Heartwarming picture of a cartoon, blah blah blah. Some dipshits giving dumb investment advice again. Not funny comic. Another not funny comic. Inspirational quote next to an animal picture. Funny video that's been posted like 1,000 times. I see we've gone through the gambit of Olif's scenario here. Interesting world building. Interesting implications about Olif's true identity. And now we're back to trolling Reddit. Ooh, some interesting space news. Wonder how things are progressing on that front. Painfully unfunny, edgy joke. God, Kamapa sucks. What else? Video of some really dumb stunts. What idiot films these? I'll make for some good popcorn entertainment. Ooh, here's something interesting. Apparently the name Bach is being thrown around more often for the upcoming election. There's this poll stating that his brand recognition is at an all-time high. He seems to have a decent amount of approval. That's neat. What are the comments thinking? I entered the thread. I actually met Bach once. He's a super down-to-earth dude. We had a solid conversation, exchanged ideas. I wasn't even a fan, but he really listened to my concerns and explained his own positions very well. I say Panthea is due for some change. Bach seems like a good direction to go. Wanna know what's fucked up? I just campaigned as god like super low in the fight. Shit, I saw some pro-Aisha posters hung up on my blog recently. They're bordering on racist, TBH. I see, we are seeing Locke's bot army. Just goes to show how out of touch she is. Hashtag Balker bust. You guys know that this guy has no political experience, right? Like none whatsoever. He had, what, a middling job at Olimpo, and he wants to jump straight up to leading Panthea? Seems pretty dumb. But anyone but Aisha, right? Because fuck a hard-working woman trying to make things better. Hashtag girl boss. Crime still exists, so clearly it's her fault, and she's not cut out for any of this. Honestly, Kappa users have their heads so far up their asses. Alright, bored now. New thread, let's go. I skim for something interesting. Oh. Someone made a post complaining about the duods. A thorough list of a bunch of grievances with some evidence attached. Bold, but I suppose not overly so, considering it was an anonymous Kamapa account. Alright, comment time. Seriously, can't believe Panthea is still fucking dealing with the duots. In this day and age, we're still dealing with a fucking mafia. Like, fucking seriously? It's pathetic. Hugely pathetic. Someone should run up to their base and just gun them all down. Whoa. Fucking gutter rats, a lot of them. Hello, Tele Stan. Imagine being such a worthless piece of shit that your greatest purpose in life is being in a two-bit gang. Disgraceful. Duots don't deserve right. I feel like these monthly let's shit on the duots posts have become weekly at this point. It's so bad that why doesn't somebody do something? That's right, everybody here's a bunch of loud talkers, too chicken shit to actually make any change. And pat each other's backs with another thread saying how they're all so bad and lame and whatever. It's gotten old. Alright, that's a shit show, predictable. Back to homepage. Skim. Oh? A memorial piece dedicated to the late Apis. It's a sketched picture. I didn't think Apis was well known enough to get drawn pictures of him as tribute long after his death. That's the cop? Guess I stand mistaken. Now what are the comments on this going to be like? The cop in Laverta's story? Seth's partner... Either Seth or Baldera's partner, I forget exactly who in context. Baldera was listening in on the radio as he was out patrolling with Seth. Something, gunned down, killed in the line of duty. Probably actually killed by Seth. Enter the thread with a bit of anticipation. OMG, this drawing's amazing. I absolutely love the line work. Is there any way I could support you? What's your Patreon? Then the author went and plugged some shit. Okay, moving on. I'm so glad people still remember Apis. As someone who's not really a big fan of the police, I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. And he pretty much single-handedly took down a dictator. Not for him, I'm pretty sure Zahak would still be ruling Panthea as a wrinkled, desiccated husk of a self. Are we still on Apis? Caught some people. Big whoop. I don't get why he's paraded as this big paragon with the police force, and I don't know why so many people have eaten it up. Solve some cases. How's his job? Fair. Quite predictably, that last comment was not doing particularly favorably in Kamapa's voting system. I mean, what were you expecting? Comment like that on a post like that? Time and place. Anyways. Still wanted to kill a bit more time. Do one more interesting thread. Let's see. Scrolling. Oh, this is interesting. An Oracle article. Wait, not an article. An official apology? That's weird. Wasn't in a heavy reading mood, though. I just went to the comments to try and see what was what. TLDR, the article addresses allegations of prejudice in the Oracle's coverage of Panthean events. It's written by the head of the Oracle, Kane Shea. Oh. Link to her to here if you don't know who he is, but to sum it up quick, he's had some iffy takes, but generally less shitty than some of the more hardcore douchebags you'll find in those circles. Basically says that a certain amount of bias is inevitable when running an operation where you have to write a lot of opinion pieces. Shea claims a lot of it stems from his love of Panthea, civic pride, you know the drill. But he's really pro-Olimpo and pro-Aisha. He does, however, concede that for an objective news-based site, that sort of bias is probably not the best. Says he's going to be doing a lot of reflection on how to properly limit bias in reporting moving forwards, including hiring some new blood to the Oracle with opposing viewpoints. Ultimately, we're going to have to kind of wait and see if he means what he says or if it's a crock of shit. Honestly, I could see it going either way. Didn't the Oracle make pretty much an identical apology like a year back? We supposed to believe that this would be any different than that time? It's a move to mitigate some of the bad press circulating around his bad press. And nothing more. Your people are smart enough to see through that, though nowadays it's hard to have such faith. carbuncle. As a mage, can't believe the Oracle is bowing down to public pressure like this. Another case of internet mob justice going wild. Not the SJW. God damn it. The Oracle's fine. It gave the facts and it gave opinions, and it clearly delineated between the two. We're just mad that opinions aren't the ones they share. Newsflash, there's plenty of journalists to follow that give the facts in the same cookie-cutter opinions. We'll follow one of them. Made the Oracle because as a proud Panthea and I like hearing the truth of the matter. Really hope that those promised changes aren't noticeable. I'm going to be very upset. Alright, okay, that's it. That's final. Enough internet toxicity for one day. Papa was fine in short doses. Spend too long in that labyrinth and your head starts to go funny. Besides all that, you start believing that IQ is an actual form of measurement. Besides all of this, it was probably just my attempt to stall from doing the actual work I had ahead of me. Understanding the context of the Oracle posting an apology for the bias in their reporting, and the particular slant in their reporting as we've seen so far. The real-world equivalent would probably be something akin to, like, PragerU posting an apology for the bias in their reporting. You wouldn't buy it. You'd have hardcore fanatics who would get mad at them for apologizing and blame the quote-unquote SJWs. And even if the people who say, no, this is a bullshit apology, then nothing's going to change. That's the real-world parallel in this case, I would say. God, this series is going down the tubes. There's too much real politics coming into this. Besides, all of this was probably just my attempt to stall from doing the actual work ahead of me. I could dick around on my laptop as long as I wanted, but at some point I'd have to face reality and return to my obligations. Oh, no time like the present. Reached over into my desk drawer and took out a low-key looking phone. Probably a burner. Definitely locked. Hopefully had some interesting shit in here. Oh, well. Secret hidden phone in the residence of one Polly Deisma. What? How exciting. Lucky for me, that goody two-shoes thought it fitting to give this to me. Which meant that I could snoop all through the contents before actually handing it off to the proper investigators. That meant fun for me, especially considering I was also conducting my own investigation of sorts. Right, that's how to frame this. Who's the goody two-shoes? Boldera? Or Laverna? This isn't work, this is fun. This is for personal benefit. Still, hacking phones open was kind of monotonous work. Luckily, I knew more or less how to do just that. First to check if the phone would just open on its own. Okay, so scratch that idea. We gotta do a hacking minigame, don't we? Reach for a nearby bit and start digging through some wires until I found the appropriate one. There we go. Attached one end of the wire into the phone and the other into my laptop. This would make things a whole hell of a lot easier. Search for the appropriate tools on my laptop. Then I got to work. Let's pry this bad boy open, shall we? Ah, fuck, I don't remember how to play this. Okay, after careful deliberation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. So. 2, 3, 4 dead tiles surrounding. 1, 2, 3, 4 dead tiles surrounding. 6, 7. 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 plus 3, 3 plus 2. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Ka-ching, voila. Not exactly a walk in the park, but a hacked phone is a hacked phone. With this, no longer did a password stand in my way. The simple flick of my finger, I was in. Alright, let's see. I could turn this bad boy in. Or I could go with the infinitely more fun, rewarding option of snooping through this phone by myself right now. It should be obvious which option I settled on. Time to see what secrets the super-secret burner was hiding. First up, let's make sure this phone ball belongs to the expected person. Went to the contacts section. What does the phone call itself? Polly, huh? Alright. A little boring, but I guess that's the expected option. I guess. Part of me was hoping it'd be a super secret phone that belonged to a mysterious person. After all, if the phone was hidden in a public area of the house, theoretically it could belong to anybody living there. Maybe even the previous owner. In fact, since it was hidden in a public area and not some place inside Polly's room, it actually suggested that he wasn't the owner of this phone. After all, if this was your super secret phone, you'd probably hide it in a place people couldn't accidentally stumble across it. I didn't see any reason why you'd lie about your own identity in the context section of the phone. It was safe to assume this phone really belonged to Polly. So then was this a burner of his? Most likely. Burner phones are great. They're the ones that always hide the juiciest of secrets. So then what apps did this burner phone have? Oh, nothing interesting. Pretty much only the standard shit that phones came with. Guess it made sense that you wouldn't download Kamapa or some gaming apps on your secret burner phone. But still gave me a list to work with. Well, we gotta start somewhere. How about the pictures? You put the pictures app. Anything interesting? Whoa. Okay. Lot of porn. Lot of porn. Except... Oh? Oh. Okay. So, not porn. Polly? At least not the traditional type. Polly? Let's actually look at this a bit closer. Let's not. Okay, whew. Maybe this shows how fucked up my mind is. But I had to make sure that this wasn't like, you know, fucked up in some way. We're not touching that with a 10-foot pole? Taken secretly or under duress or some shit. Still, it seems like everything here was pretty above board. Relatively speaking. It's not like I could transport myself to these exact situations. Rather, there's nothing to imply that it is coerced in some unethical way. Gotta be honest, still it seems a bit weird to keep a gallery like this. I mean, maybe that's the whole purpose of this burner phone. Grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem particularly out of character for Polly. More importantly, I severely doubted this was relevant in any particularly pertinent way. Okay then, so pictures are out. What else? What other avenues to check? About his phone's browser. That seemed pretty good. I opened it up. Blank page. That's fine. Time to boot up the old search history. Any skeletons in your closet, Polly? Began reading through. Stocks, Basic Edition. Stonks. How to work stocks. Is it healthy to shave your pubic hair? Are there people who don't dream? Bah. Shadow of Panthea. Thane reports. Why does the earth spin? Does your voice change as you age? Vocal recognition. Security measures. Security camera prices. How to host kid birthday party. My cat lyrics. Tally greatest hits. How to get song out of head. Why isn't one Okay, Polly's drunk search history. What is a good credit score? Polly Deisma. Polly Deisma scandals. I see, Polly Deisma... Alright then. How to raise your credit score? Vashu Devaki. That's Krish's last name, isn't it? Recent duet activity. How much does it cost to live in a hotel for a prolonged period of time? How to make a threatening note without it being traced back to you? Private investigators, Panthea. Private investigator average cost. What if I hired... What if I hired 2 private investigators to investigate each other? How do you submit videos to Panthea's funniest videos? How do you record private investigators without being obvious? How to use Kamapa? Alright, well that's a waste of time. Moving on. Okay, fuck it. Dancing around the issue. Really the place to check was the text conversations. There weren't a lot of them. Even fewer of them were given contact names. Guess that made sense. Usually wouldn't use your burner phone that often. You question why there were so many search results in the browser. Actually, okay, that probably made sense. The browser account was probably linked between multiple devices, meaning that those search results could have been made on any device that Polly owned. Wait, then did that mean Polly had linked his burner phone to his browser's account? Either Polly was a bigger dumbass than I thought, or this wasn't really that much of a burner as it was a second phone. And honestly, either option seemed plausible. Whatever. Time to just start checking conversations. That would make sense, the differing tone of certain conversations. The serious stuff was on this phone, searched on this phone. The drunk stuff was searched on his main phone. Ooh, here's a thread with Odin. That seemed promising. Kingpin that Odin was. Maybe there'd be some major secret talk happening here. Let's see. Hey Odin, it's me, Polly. Just wanted you to know about this contact number, just in case. Doubt you'd ever need to contact it, and I doubt I'd contact you from it. But you know, I just wanted you to have this number. Jay, I see. Let me know when you get this. Pah! You have a perfectly good phone already, do you not? What use is this second phone? You have not earned such success. You do not deserve so many ways to access me. Frankly, I should make you talk to me in person every time you wish to converse. Okay, Dad. That's the end of that conversation. Yeah, that sounds about right. For a brief moment, I felt like I got a brief flash of what it would be like to live in the Odin Deisma household. It wasn't a positive flash. Let's move on. This was a conversation with someone simply known as the guy. What was this about? I opened that conversation. Hey, did you see that new episode of Lunch Money? Apparently got an 8.5 with the ratings on this on one site and a 4 out of 5 on another. Yeah, man, it was great. Next episode is on at 9:30 on PTV, right? Yep, so excited. A period of time passed. Hey, did you see that new episode of Magical Molly? I heard it got a 6.0 with the ratings on one site and a 3.5 3 out of 5 on the other. Yeah, man, it was only okay. Next episode is on at 11 on the Smithsonian channel, right? Yep, I'll still check it out. A period of time passed. Hey, maybe we should hang out sometime soon. Totally. Been far too long. Some more time passed. I just did a new episode of Golden Boys. I heard it got a 7.8 in the ratings on one site and a 4 out of 5 on another. Yeah, man, it was pretty good. Next episode is on at 9 p.m. on Opera streaming, right? Oh, I thought it was at 11. You're right. Cool, I'm excited for it. Some more time passed. What about recent events, huh? The world is really crazy. Some more time passed. Hey, did you see that new episode of Magical Molly? I heard it got a 9.5 with the ratings on one site and a 5 out of 5 on another. Yeah, man, it was fantastic. Next episode is on at 10 on PTV, right? Yep, I'm super excited. This seems like a code of some sorts. Oh, okay. I got it. It was a drug deal. Yep, cool. Nice work, Polly. Couldn't quite crack the exact specifics of the code, but the broad strokes were pretty clear. Didn't seem particularly sophisticated, but I suppose it just needed to hold up in court or whatever. So, getting hooked up by a low-rent drug dealer. Classy, Deisma boy. Well, to Polly's defense, it didn't seem like the two had talked in quite a bit of time. Testament to the fact that he was actively trying to get clean? Not that that was really indicative of much. I double-checked this contact's phone number and wrote it down on my computer's notepad app. I wasn't really the type to indulge in that sort of stuff. Though you never know what would end up being useful. This was probably pointless. But having a drug dealer's contact number in my back pocket might end up useful at some fork down the road. Okay, here we go. This was it. This was the money name. Art. This should be good. Those two are brothers. Like Odin, I don't think Art would dismiss Polly out of hand. Art might be really wrapped up in the true criminal workings of Panthea. I was excited to see what this conversation had to offer. I clicked on the name and began to skim. Oh. Scrolled up quite a bit more. In full context for this. I need to make sure I understood exactly what was being said. Okay, this seemed like far enough up to get a full scope of things. So carefully, let's go through this conversation point by point. Hey, Art. When we last talked, we were on rocky terms. I need your help. About the latest scandal. I'm sure you've seen it. Usually don't care about the media, but this one's annoying. I'm trying to rehabilitate my image. Now Odin's really on my ass about this whole thing. Just need you to go away. You have contacts with media people, right? People who are good at angling how the public receives info, right? Would you please hook me up with some of those contacts? Just one brother asking another for a favor. Begging you. Why you contacting me with that number? Anyways, the answer is no. I find this begging shameless. Do you think we have that sort of relationship where I'd bail you out like this? Seriously. I don't know why you feel the need to rehabilitate your image, but whatever reason you have, it almost certainly is a waste of time. Maybe if consequences catch up to you, you'll finally learn a lesson. Seriously, bro? Yes, I am serious, bro. Why you gotta be an asshole all the time? You made an unreasonable request. You're getting a reasonable answer. Simple as that. Look, I didn't want to bring this up, but you kinda owe me one. Oh? How do you figure that? In case you forgot, I was the one who warned you about the whole JC situation. Oh? Now for me, you would have been taken down. Hard. You don't think my warning is worth anything? Huh. You're the only asshole I know who texts the word, huh. You're really trying to pull this shit? Bullshit. What are you talking about? You're trying to spin this as a selfless act on your part. Not a calculated move on your part. Yeah. Liar. You and I both know you only contacted me out of self-interest. You knew that I would handle the situation for you. It was the only way to handle the fact that JC knew about the Callista situation. How did... What the fuck? How do you know about that? You know me. I'm thorough. I doubted your motives when you threw a pretty-looking girl like JC under the bus. There isn't a Callista situation. We both know that's not true. It was an accident. Accidents tend to happen when you're drunk, Polly. Nothing really happened. Callista's fine. We both agreed to be cool. She told me herself it was all chill. It wasn't an issue until JC started poking around and putting ideas in her head. Giving Callista ideas about settlement money. By the way, I invariably fucked up at JC to do that when I was fucking helping her with her investigation shit. Like, why in the fuck would you then go ahead and try to wreck my life? So you admit it would wreck your life? No. Like I said, nothing happened. Callista was cool. Even with JC being a bitch. Callista told me she was gonna be rational. She knew she wouldn't gain anything by making a mountain out of a molehill. So you're saying you didn't have a strong motive to silence JC? My motive was saving your ass. Bullshit. After all, you're the one who left her on the manjet, right? Whoa. Manjet? What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you talking about? JC was too wise to get captured when the Duats came for her, for which she was completely MIA. She knew she was being targeted, so she was laying low. She was smart enough to know that she should get out of town. Yet somehow she ended up unconscious on the Duats' doorstep. Even the Duats had no idea who delivered her. Practically wrapped with a bow. How do you even know all this? I have a friend. How do you think I was able to get the Duat senior officers to recognize JC as a threat in the first place? Anyways, you were the one who delivered her to the Duats, right? The fuck? No? Why would you say that? She was on the run, Polly. She knew she was in danger. She'd only stay with someone she trusted a great deal. The times you couldn't have known that Callista reached out to you and blabbed about JC's other investigations. As far as she was concerned, you were still acting as an informant and an ally. She'd have trusted you. You would have had the opportunity to get to her. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Art, but I know enough to say it's bullshit. Not a fucking murderer. Oh? Was it not murder when you first tipped JC off to me? Of course not! Thought you'd pay her off or throw her off the scent or ship her away. Didn't think you'd jump right to murder. You're not that naive. Apologies for not realizing that my brother's a complete psychopath. Art, how hard is it to realize that I've just tried to look out for you? I always have. Is that so? Recall a certain brother you certainly didn't reach out to help when he quite needed it. I was busy. Not proud of it. You know what? Fuck you, Art. I don't need this shit. Get it? You're not gonna help. Suck a cock. Grow up. We can't keep living like this. Those are the last messages the two sent each other. Wow. Wow. Fucking hell, dude. Fuck. That conversation confirmed like 7 things I suspected and raised another 12 questions for me to worry about. There was so much to unpack there that I didn't even really know where to start. JC's disappearance. This was critical to unraveling that. Polly apparently was an informant against Art. JC knew something that Art couldn't tolerate. She also knew something that the Duats couldn't tolerate. Perhaps most troublingly, she knew something that Polly couldn't tolerate. It sounded pretty conclusive that once JC was knocked out on Duat turf, they were the ones that finished the job. Then who knocked her out? Polly? Earnestly denied it, though. It didn't really prove much. It looked like Polly was capable of much deeper deception than I had previously thought. Yeah! No kidding. And wait. Was I sure that the Duats finished the job? The fuck was the manjet? Art didn't actually explain that. Who was Art's friend? Or their brother? Mine spun around and around. to focus. This phone, this was the key. This was the key to something big. There were a lot of questions I needed answers for. With this, I finally found some determination. There was someone I had half a mind to talk to for quite some time. This, I finally felt like interviewing them would actually be worth my time. I should start making arrangements to talk with them. But first, the information in this phone. There was somebody who definitely needed to see it. It was my computer. There was a lot of work to do. You know what I always liked about myths? One of the things I liked about myths. Myths actually have a lot of things to admire, but if I expand the topic too wide, you'll hear me jabbering all day. One particular aspect of myth that I like is the fact that, with practically no exception, the gods are always portrayed as assholes. That always made sense to me. If there is some divine being above, I can't possibly imagine them being all benevolent and all loving and shit. I think we'd be made in their image. Petty and selfish and vindictive and human. For me, that tracks a lot more. Certainly explains the state of things, eh? And it's realistic. If you view the gods of ancient myths as essentially humans, with limitless power, of course they'd be a bunch of dicks. Living forever, no restrictions on what you can do. Losing empathy is inevitable. Maybe that's what separates us from gods. Maybe to be divine is not some grand aspiration, but something that we would consider amoral. To be divine is to be self-interested, be unable to connect with anybody else. Because why would you? How could you, if you were so much greater than a man? But power comes in many forms, not just magic abilities and immortality. Then, does acquiring power make you more divine? It's certainly been playing on my mind watching this myth. Ooh. I am really curious to see where this goes. It's starting to lead to the Manjet, which is where Mercury's story picks up. Starts to lead into this corner of the plot. It's starting to come together. Also, this leads to me seriously questioning Bills and Krish hanging out with Polly. Ah, God. Polly's attitude, Polly's place in this story just became a lot more complicated. A lot less black and white. Scandal. Something happened. Something untoward. Sheesh. Big sheesh. Big sheesh. Polly, man. Yeah, that's Polly. Whatever that really takes what he was trying to do and throws a big question mark. Throws a big question mark on all of it. Is he really doing this out of the goodness of his heart, or is he really just doing this for his own reputation and his own gain, and just fuck over art? What happened between him and this Callista? Was it reasonable? I God. Asshole.